Hello!
Hello, AOS fans!
It's the agents of Kill Team
Octarius.
So we're here today for an unboxing.
Oh, unboxing, yes, it's our first Kill Team Octarius video. Hopefully the first of many, because we're quite excited about this game.
Well, not first of many unboxings, we're just going to do one of those.
We're going to do one of those, but we're not even really going to do one, because you've already seen it. Games Workshop spoiled it a long time ago. They've done loads and loads of videos about it. So they have very kindly sent us this copy now. So we are going to do some content with it, and we thought we'd have a quick look inside and sort of talk about our preliminary thoughts. But we've got a few ideas for a few videos, so keep tuned. If you're new to the channel, do like and subscribe, because there will be 3 or 4 just about the box videos, and then hopefully there'll be some battle reports coming soon. And any other odds and sods they might be bringing out for it in the near future as well. They'll be following on when they're allowed to come out. Absolutely. Yes, Games Workshop have this frustrating habit of making all the really good stuff come out in the summer when it's school holidays and we're away and things. So it's going to be a little while before you see a full battle report. But today we're all about the contents of the box, because this game is imminent. I assume it's going to be available for pre-order when this video is allowed out. So I'm sure those of you who are up for it have already pre-ordered it. So we're going to have a look.
Let's get in the box.
Right, so here's the box. I mean, you've seen it already probably, but I absolutely love the artwork on this box. It's really, I don't know, it's evocative of
I'm liking the orange and the greys, the muteds and the very bright colours. They've obviously stolen our team colours for this.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I do really like the oranges, which they kept from the previous box. It worked before, and I think it works again now. And as always, GW have really made the artwork on it really look awesome. Yeah, definitely. And when you say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they've actually fixed quite a lot of things that were broken with Kill Team. Yes. But the box colours weren't one of them, and they haven't changed it. Nope. On the back of the box, you can see here, the sort of standard advertisorial. So it's got nice painted Death Corps of Krieg and the Orc Commandos and the scenery, orcish scenery in this one, as you probably know. And I'll quickly run through the box contents. You get a core book, which is like all the rules for Kill Team, whatever you're playing. The Kill Team Octarius rules manual. So that is actually turns out to be like a narrative play book but it has all the stats for the 2 warbands in that book. They're not in the core book. Just worth pointing out, we're going to say warband a lot, and it's not warbands too. It's Kill Teams. But warbands or is gang. We might throw in the odd gang. And some 6-sided dice. And then various transfer sheets for the Death Corps and the Orc Commandos. And token sheets and some decks of tactical ops cards, which we'll explain later, and some combat gauges. Lots and lots of talk online about the combat gauges, but they are in here. They're down here in this kind of phallic orientation here. But we aren't going to be talking about that today. No, I bet it comes up at some point. It will. And some barricades. Barricades is an interesting little rule where you can set up your own barricades at the beginning of the game. I like that. Yeah. So you're there in there, and it's 23 Citadel miniatures. So you've got 4 veteran guardsmen kill teams, including 10 operatives, and a full Orc Commando team, including 10 operatives, a bomb squig, and a commando grot. I love that bomb squig. It's got to be my favourite bomb squig. The thing. Fantastic. The models, let's have a look. But the models are phenomenal. Nice bit of artwork down the box. You've got the orcs on this side. I will say before we get into the meat of the box that none of the models in here are push fit. They all require glue and clippers. So I would say, having assembled some of the miniatures, which I'll show you in a minute, I would say, having sworn at Warhammer Underworld's models quite a lot in the last year, I actually was desperate for some push fit models. I'd forgotten how beautiful and good they are. I forgot how well they treated us. Exactly. I mean, these obviously I think are not push fit to give you a few more options for building your kill team how you want it. But you will need polystyrene cement to stick them together. Okay, so let's have a look at what's in the box. Now the first thing we do see in the box is masses of grey, and these are the absolutely fantastic sprues. We weren't going to obviously go through too much on these, but they are masses of the Orc sprues. Now, first unpopular opinion from me, I think, is I wish they weren't Orc sprue. I wish they were Imperial terrain, because I feel like you'd get a lot more for your money out of the Imperial terrain, whereas Orcs
feels like you've got to always have some orcs present for them to be relevant.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's going to be a bit odd if you're fighting Tyranids versus Eldar.
Yeah.
And you're fighting on orc terrain.
Yeah.
I think that ties in with the Octarius storyline.
Yes, that's true. That is true.
But and it is set up. The campaign book is set up for you to play any of the warbands in it. I call them warbands again. I suppose it's ringing the changes, isn't it? Which is quite nice. If you've we have got a lot of Imperial terrain already, so in some ways more Imperial terrain. I bet we'd be like, oh, it's a shame it's not something else.
And I mean, but to look at it alone is just the models, the quality on it is fantastic. I mean, GW packs so much detail into these still, and they're just bits of terrain.
There's like moulded tools on the base plates and things. There's moulded tools. I have actually built one. So this is not a true unboxing in the sense that we do know what's in it. I did build this sort of oil pump thing, which is pretty cool, and actually went together really nicely. And doesn't it look fab? Pete hasn't seen it yet.
It does look awesome.
It looks really good, doesn't it? So I'm quite looking forward to painting that, or at the very least spraying it. And then there was more plastic. I've kind of rummaged around and put it back in a terrible order. So there's more sprues underneath it. So perhaps we'll get this stuff out and then come back to you with the sprues.
So we weren't going to talk about these too much, but these are the measuring gauges. And I mean, for all of the talk, I never really thought about just how big they were. And I know it's like 1 inches, 2 inches, 3 inches. I hadn't really thought they're teeny tiny, really. And I know they would be because they're 1, 2, and 3 inches, but they're a lot smaller than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
And you've obviously got the 6-inch gauge there as well, which is just a standard ruler. You could obviously just get any old 6-inch ruler for that one, and there's a few barricades on there. So that's what we're going to talk about on those. Do look nice though.
Maybe. I've got something else to say, but we'll say it later.
And then we come on to some of the sprues for the war bands. I've done it now. The gangs. No, it's not gangs either. Third time round.
Kill teams.
It's the kill teams. So, I mean, these are, as always, they are packed with details on here.
I did assemble a couple of these miniatures, a couple of the Death Corps. I've never largely taken the Death Corps, Pete's really taken the Orcs when we play our games. They are
they look fiddly,
extremely detailed, and I am not very good at painting. I'm not very good at painting. I am not very good at assembling models. It's like my kryptonite. I don't really enjoy doing it, and I found them really, the two that I found quite tricky. So we always kind of look at this from a sort of
beginner's
casual
angle.
gamer, beginner, maybe with children aspect. And if you've got kids doing this, they're gonna need some help to assemble them because they are tricky.
These are, I mean, just looking at the orcs alone, I mean, the arms are separate from the bodies, the legs are separate. In some cases, hands are separate, weapons are separate, armor plates are separate. It's going to be tricky to fit, and the orc ones are fairly, they're thick because they're orcs, but the Imperial Guard sprues, these really remind me of the old army kits you used to get, like the old World War II type
they
kits.
Are very
obviously they look like that anyway because they're the Death Corps sort of models, and that's what they're meant to look like. But I mean, just the scale of it, the thinness, the fiddliness. Yeah,
they've got bayonets for a start.
Yeah, got bayonets,
and there's some shovels on there, and but there's lots of extra little bits of equipment to stick to them, which I always dislike. I have to say, as a builder, because I'm like, where does that go? Where does that go? And I often end up don't sticking.
There's even little pickaxes, grenades.
It is great. It is great. If you are a painter and a hobbyist, you're gonna absolutely love these models.
These are
incredible.
They're fantastic.
I'm not sure how easy they are to completely assemble and then paint. I'm not sure that's going to be the best way to do it. I have a feeling some assemblies are going to be the way to go if that floats your boat.
Definitely do not stick them to the bases before you want to spray or paint them.
I've already done that.
Oh dear, Robin, mistake number one.
I was going to cover this in a different video, but it's my problem with Games Workshop games in general is that you want to build your toys, and you want to play with your toys, even if you can't. But paint them weeks down the line before they're finished. So I've got to stick to the base, otherwise we can't play with them.
Yeah.
So I have done that, but I think if you're a true painter hobbyist, then you're obviously, but you know that anyway. But you're not going to want to stick.
Yeah. I mean, very tiny bits of blue tack maybe might sort you out.
Yeah.
There's some more chunky terrain here. Again, I mean, this stuff you could beat a man to death with. This is thick. This stuff, but again, it's just massively detailed. And it just looks fantastic. GW.
I love that Scots crew. It's almost like the mashed up. It's almost like a mashed up. What are they called? I can't remember what the orc cars are called, but they're
the trucks and things.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like a scrap heap for those.
The box is getting very empty now
Yeah.
because the amount of plastic in there is phenomenal. But that's what GW do.
I've already taken the books out actually, Pete. The books are here.
Oh yes, it's got some dice, fairly average dice.
Nice orange colour.
Nice orange colour. They kind of look like they feel softer.
I haven't opened the bag, so I don't know. I kind of thought we wouldn't bother opening the bag.
Well, that's just, yeah. I mean, they kind of feel smaller than regular dice. I almost don't like those. I think we might have to play with some of our own dice.
They're quite light. They're
very light.
I mean, they are dice. They do roll.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't particularly like GW's smaller dice.
No.
They always do with all their goes. But I mean, you do need them to play. There's 2 decks of cards. They're actually identical, except the backs are different colours. So these are black.
And those are orange.
Yeah. So they are basically the tactical operations in the game. So there's a mechanic whereby you have secondary objectives, and I won't go into the depth of the mechanics, but basically you will choose a number of these cards. So you choose a portion of the cards, and then you choose a number of that portion randomly, and they're the ones that you they're the secondary objectives that you're trying to get in that game. And so there's a deck each, basically.
Yeah. There's different things. There's like rob and ransack stuff. You've got other things like upgrades like implants and sabotage and things like that. And you've also got some blank cards, which are like faction tac op 1 and so on. You might not be able to see that on this card here, but it's basically because your tactical op stuff is in the book. You don't get separate cards for those ones.
No, so these are like the generic cards.
Yeah.
But every faction has its own specific tac ops.
Yeah.
But it only has 3, and that's why there's a tac op 1, tac op 2, tac op 3, and you basically put those in your selection, and if you choose those, it's whatever the number is in the book.
They come with a nice little card holder things. I'm sure nobody's going to use those because everyone's going to immediately sleeve all their cards.
Barbarians.
But not us.
I actually don't like these sleeves, but that's just my own. They to me they're almost pointless because they're not good enough to hold the cards, because they just fall out at the end.
Yeah.
So they're I mean they're nice, but I think they're useless. But they're not as bad as some of the other ones, where in other games we've had like Warcry, I think, and certainly the Necromunda ones, where once you've taken them out of the box, you can't get them back in again. No. So they are better than that, but you can get them back in.
We've got some
transfers.
Transfers there.
It says Krieg on it. Nice.
It says Krieg, and the Orc one's got loads of different things. You've got the Goths. You've got all the different big Orc clans there to stick on, so you can pretty much do them however you like, which is quite funky.
Yeah.
We won't be using those. And then the last piece of the puzzle, which is of course,
this is the difficulty level of puzzles Pete likes.
Yeah. So this is the board.
Yeah.
If we can get that open, just to show you how big it is. So this is the board folded out. It's pretty standard, I think 30 by 22 inch, something like that. Same as the old Kill Team, same as the what's the other thing they did with the boards this size? Warcry. Yeah. It's about that same sort of size. And I think 40K now uses these, in that you put 2 of them together to get like a mid-sized board and so on.
I think it's a really good way to go. Finding a board gaming area was always the bane of any when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Trying to get a board. It's interesting the things they've got on it. It's basically looks like the old Shadow War Armageddon terrain has been buried in sand.
It is, yeah. They've obviously, because GW they make their terrain 3D and then they take a high quality picture and print it, which is awesome. They've done sand on both sides though, which I mean,
yeah, it's the same. I guess it's pretty much.
Yeah, I guess it's to do with the whole like Octarius sort of thing, but I guess if you've got the other boards from Kill Team before and stuff like that, you can use those as well.
I mean, they are largely irrelevant, I suppose, to what's on here.
Yes.
It is just a background.
It's just a marking area.
The three-dimensional stuff is the important thing.
That's most of what you get in the box. We've got a few more bits left.
A few more tokens.
Oh, tokens.
Got my favourite thing here, the little radar things. I love those. There's various tokens. These are your objectives when you're playing the game. You have to capture those.
They are bright.
They are bright. You won't miss those.
Very bright, very bright. Orange and blue and red.
There is complete instructions for assembly. They're actually, so far, pretty good, I would say. I haven't done very many, but they're pretty good.
Most times GW are quite good on their assembly instructions.
They have evolved. They have got better. There's lots of good use of colour in there, so you can see what you're doing. There are a myriad options, as you said. There are a myriad options for building it. So you will have to make some decisions, whether you make those on look at how great they look, or how good they are in combat, I don't know. But again, it's one of those things. You want your toy immediately.
Rule of cool.
And
always go
exactly. I think the rule of cool is the way to go. So.
Unfortunately, you quite often find that whichever way you build the model, it looks cool either way.
Well, there is that.
So then what do you do there? But got to do what you do.
And then there are 2 rule books.
Here we go. Look at them.
Ooh, so we're going to start reading these.
Yeah, right, we're going to read the whole thing.
Congratulations on purchasing Kill Team 3.0. 2.0 we couldn't decide.
6.0. So you've got 2 books here. You've got the Kill Team Octarius book, and then over there, Robin, you've just got
I've got the core book.
The core book.
But both have lore in them. And this one actually has quite a lot of lore in, and it's all pretty standard 40k lore. That's about 50 pages worth. Various descriptions of the various factions and things you can play, not in any great depth, but the various races and things you can play in the game. And then you've got the core rules, which actually are quite slender. And I have to say, I haven't read all the lore stuff yet, but I have read all of the core rules, which is something of a first for me, because I normally get really bored reading rules, and I have to learn as I'm going. So I think these rules are pretty well written, or very well written, and they kind of all make sense. There's a few things that, okay, well, I'm not quite sure that will work out when we get on the battle, but I thought they were really, really good.
There are a few bits in there where you've got like some of where they've replaced shapes, where like you have to be within circle of thing, and for a minute your brain sort of goes, oh, what circle? But then after a very short period of time, I reckon that's going to become sort of second nature.
I think when you're playing, it'll be really obvious.
Yes.
The line of sight rules a bit iffy, but I think I found them. I don't mean they're iffy and that they're not very good. I just mean they're a little bit abstract.
Yes.
But I found them really interesting to read.
Again, it's the kind of thing where it's like you have to be within circle of the train, and your opponent must be outside of triangle. And again, it's like, well, hang on, have we come up with a new language here? But again, I think once you play it becomes less nonsensical. But
the changes to the rules are really great. You've seen all those on Warhammer Community. Yeah. The stat cards are much briefer. You've basically got several phases in your game. You've got your initiative phase, the strategy phase, and the firefight phase. And they kind of like initiative is very short. It's just who's going to go first this turn. Strategy phase is you pick what objectives and things you might be trying to do and what tactics you're going to use. And the firefight phase is actually playing the game, and it's all turn activation. So I would activate a figure, then Pete would activate a figure, and so back and forth until we've got none left. And I say it's a really well written book. The rules aren't that long because then you go into the missions. So for open play, there's kind of one standard open play mission, which is like a basically drop zone inside, long board. But you do have a few ideas which are quite like for creating your own open play game. So like rather than just playing a straight out flat battle, there's like mission rules. The defender has instilled a shielding system to protect the position against incoming fire. Brilliant. While an operative in the defender's kill team is wholly within their drop zone, add 1 to their defense characteristic. So little quirks you can add to change it, which is pretty cool. Then you've got the match play rules. I don't know how often Pete and I will do match play, but basically with that you pick 20 fighters, of which you can make up into kill teams, and then you, when you've decided between the two of you, or however you've decided to do it, what battle you're playing, then you pick the 20. You pick from your 20 to make your kill team, and then that's all part and parcel of the match play experience. Actually picking the fighters that you want,
deciding which ones you want to take to the field.
And then the rest of the book pretty much is the narrative play, and this a really, I think, important distinction with this game. Although they have given a nod to the match play players, I think they're very seeing this to be a narrative game.
I mean the whole kill team box is only going to be from a limited run, from what GW said. Everything will be available separately from the box when it sells out eventually. But this isn't like the starter box. It's a starter box in the sense that you get everything in there for a better price, but it's not like 40k where you buy the 40k starter box and that gives you all the basic stuff. This is just a version of it with everything in there, a bit like the 40k one that came out a while ago that they sold out and then had to do a print on demand version.
Yeah, but it does have. So I don't quite agree with you. I'm not quite sure how to say it. it does have everything you need to play. It's not like Dominion. Dominion didn't have dice or whatever.
Yes,
This you can pick
does
up,
have everything.
but they will sell the bits separately. I don't know if they're going to sell the Octarius books.
Well, that's a good point. They might not, and they haven't confirmed
That's the
what
campaign book. They're going to sell the model, so I would think it would be a bit daft if they didn't sell that.
I'm
Because
pretty sure they said everything in the box is going to be available separately at some point. So
because the Krieg and the Commando stats are in this book,
they're going to
not
bring
in
this
that
out
book.
then,
So
unless they bring out a separate, smaller book to supplement them. But like Robin says, the other book here, the Octarius one, has the stats for the Krieg and the Orcs, the Commandos. It's got a little bit in there about a little bit of fluff in there at the start about Octarius and stuff like that. It also has a little bit in there dedicated to each of the different species, races, just to basically give you an excuse as to why they all happen to be on the same planet fighting each other. And it gives you a load of bits in there about all the different Krieg, and obviously loads of gorgeous pictures as always, bits about the Orcs and the Orc kill teams, more gorgeous artwork.
The various Imperial Guards you could have. And it even gives you a little lead in for how you might be able to mix and match your Imperial Guard types.
Yeah.
It talks about how they, when they're severely depleted, they might join each other briefly until they end up being amalgamated to something else, which is quite interesting. I think they very much wanted you to create stories about your soldiers in this game. And I think we're going to see campaign packs coming out.
That'd be quite cool.
Yeah, so this is Octarius, and then there's going to be a new one. Whether it'll be a whole new box, I don't know. It could just be a book, but I would expect you'll probably see new kind of kill teams coming out with proper because these are in some serious detail. I don't know what the compendium book will be like.
Yeah.
But these are in like serious depth there. And I'd be surprised if they did the compendium in the same depth that they've done the Commandos and the Krieg.
Yeah. Just to show you here, you've got a names and demeanour section, the old D66 table with like a name generator and stuff like that.
And I don't think you're going to see that in the compendium.
No, I don't think you will.
So I think this is kind of like... So I would expect over time to see other releases like this for new, possibly whole new kill teams, but certainly for existing.
There's other stuff in here as well, like veteran guardsmen, tactical assets, and things like artillery barrages and guided missile strikes.
That's one of their things. I think they have
that.
slightly less fighters because they have 10 each, and the Orcs have the Orcs have the squig and the bomb thing.
Yeah.
They have whatever you just said.
Those special things.
Special things like they can call down an airstrike and shoot somebody from, as long as they can see them. As long as one of their fighters can see them, they can shoot them.
I do like the fact that they've got an individual character card for each of the fighters in here. So there's one for every single one of them because they are all different.
Yeah, no cards in the box though, which is interesting. I was expecting to get little cards like they did for Warcry almost.
That's one thing I'm a little disappointed by, is the fact that there aren't like the Warcry cards where you could then have them. It means you're going to have to either try and get... I mean, you're not going to be able to get a digital version of this, so you're going to have to hope that somebody can slice the spine off of theirs and scan them or something like that, or just... Yeah, I mean, you can't even cut them out yourself because they're back to back on the pages, so that is a little bit of an annoyance. They do also have the bits in there about what's traversable and what's sort of vantage points on the terrain and stuff like that. They do have some fairly simple rules around terrain, which makes life a bit easier.
Yeah, they've definitely streamlined the terrain rule, which is great. And again, it's the campaign book, so it explains the terrain for the campaign, and it explains what keywords they have.
And in here you've got like layouts for the missions as well, so a bit Warcry-esque in that sense, but it's specified, so it's not random and ramshackled as to how you set up.
There's a whole group of interconnected missions for the Octarius,
which I'm really looking forward to playing through.
Separate to in here, this has some narrative stuff as well, but that has a whole set of interconnected missions, which is quite cool.
So that's the Octarius book. Really love that. I think just being able to take 2 warbands out of the box, play a series of battles, series of missions against each other, I think that's absolutely fantastic.
It is, and I have to say, because the previous kill team iteration, you didn't even get like a full kill team when you actually worked it out.
No, that was annoying.
And so you've got exactly what you need to play in here, and you haven't got much room for expansion actually, because one of the things you can do in the narrative play is you can spend points after the battle to recruit to have new recruits. But you won't have any models because full kill teams. So without buying any more models, you won't have any models to add to your kill team. So, but I think the way they've kind of worded it, if you happen to have a what are they called? Acadian, no, not called.
Well, the Acadian shot troops.
Yeah, if you had Acadian shot troop, Imperial Guardsman model, you could just stick him
or
in.
Catachan or something like that.
Yeah, whatever.
Which would be quite cool.
So that's quite nice. So you're not, because obviously Krieg quite hard to get hold of unless you buy a new whole box.
Yeah, unless you can buy another box for now. I'm assuming that the Krieg, because they did come off of the GW off of Forge World, they obviously got rid of all their Death Corps models. I mean, obviously that's because they're just bringing that whole plastic range. Hopefully that's just the start of it, because frankly that'd be awesome. One thing that people may have missed, or they might not have missed, or we might not have specifically covered, people are hopefully already aware of though, no points. No points in any of this. No long list. There's no point. Oh god. There's no long list of things in the back where you've got to decide, do I want to give him a bolt pistol for 3 points, or do I want to give him a plasma pistol for 9 points, or a power sword, or a chainsaw? Doesn't matter. You just have the models. They already have their kits, and hopefully people are already aware of that from all the stuff GW mentioned. But obviously, that will become more obvious as we go into when we play games, and we can show off everything there. And if you have any questions about that side of it, obviously do ask.
Absolutely. So I'm really excited about this. It seems like a really quick way into mini games of 40k, which I guess is what it is.
Yeah.
But what we hoped the previous iteration of Kill Team would be, and it wasn't. And so the rules seem really nice and streamlined. I really love the idea of just getting, well, it's not half a dozen, but it could be half a dozen for some kill teams. But
depends,
getting half a dozen models, 10 models, and just playing with them. It's a bit underworldsy in that respect, because
it is a bit,
we can probably find. I mean, I would never have a Sisters of Battle army, but I love the idea of getting hold of sort of 5-10 Sisters of Battle, painting them up, and playing a game of kill team with them. So I really hope that the rules for this, I hope the game plays as well as the rules read, because they seem to be really good. And if they do, I think you'll see lots of different games, lots of different kill teams on the channel. So I hope you want to see that, because I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got several kill teams already from various escapades. There's probably Space Marines, Death Guards, Demons, Eldari.
Really looking forward to having like 5 Blood Angels, 5 Dark Angels, 5 whatever.
And you can make like you can make a kill team of Blood Angels and make them all sort of offensive, fast attack choices, and sort of chainsaws and bolt pistols, much more Blood Angel-y. And then you can have like an Ultramarine group and have them as heavy intercessors with the big guns, and really looking forward to that.
That's for me, because I love the models of 40k, but I've just never been able to get into the game. But this could be the route in, which I'm guessing is what Games Workshop want.
Yes. The interesting thing, of course, is that people will get this. The sprue aren't necessarily starter friendly. They're not push fit, because they're obviously going to release them separately at some point, and then they're going to be the more typical multi-part kits. So that's a little bit of a possible stumbling block for people who are new to the game. That's going to be a very steep learning curve for them. And obviously the other thing is that this game plays nothing like 40k. I can see a lot of people playing this, then looking at 40k, maybe getting the rulebook or reading the rulebook and going, Christ, that's a lot of work. I'm just going to stick with Kill Team, because I mean, this seems like it's going to give you everything you want. It's got the variety with the different tactical ops cards and stuff like that. So no two games are going to be the same, but you can just so easily create new kill teams out of it.
Definitely. I feel like that might be perhaps the demographic for this game is different to 40k. I mean, we're time poor.
Yeah. So maybe this is why it's aimed at people like us.
People like us, rather than playing 40k all day, which once upon a time we'd love to do.
Oh yeah.
But now, well, we still wouldn't mind doing it.
Yeah, we still like the idea.
Got allowed to.
Yeah.
And so really excited.
As always, everything is maximum quality with GW. Everything is fantastic looking. It's all put together perfectly. Even the box is just great quality stuff. And you know what? Really looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
So I hope you enjoyed that unboxing, and hopefully we gave you everything you need to know about it. Do let us know in the comments below if there's anything that you'd like to know about this that hasn't already been covered by anybody, and we'll do our best to answer those for you.
Very much so. Do look out for our other videos as well. We're going to show you our favourite bits of the box, and possibly a few things that we're not quite so keen on. And we will also do a little video a bit more in depth about the narrative play, because that's, I think, the most exciting thing about the game. So I think it's worthy of a short video to itself.
Yeah. So we'll see you soon on the Agents of Sigmar.